Hey, welcome back, VC. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'd like to express my gratitude for all my subscribers that tuning in. And today we have T for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens. This record has now been reissued by Analog Productions on a 2LP 45 RPM pressing. Now, in 2011, this record, when Analog Productions had the tape, they took the opportunity at that time to remaster it in 45 RPM as well as 33 and a third, just in case. Well, you know what? Just in case has come along, and now we've got the record, and it was done. Except there's a little book in here. Let's have a look at it. Show you the picture. I don't know if you can see it or not, but George Marino. He's the senior mastering engineer at Sterling Sound. And after 2011, I'm not sure the year, but he's now passed away. But they took the opportunity when, like I said, when they had the tape, to get George remastered at 45 RPM. And George was one of the greats. He was one of the masters in this, and that's why these records are so phenomenal. It's due partly to him. And so we have this record that they put out now. If y'all remember, this was Analog Productions Quality Records. This was the first record that they put out. And they put it out because they just really, really loved this record. One of their favorite records. And the original Pink Islands gatefolds were going for a lot of money. So they said, well, we need to reissue that. It's always good advice for a reissue label to look out there and see what records are going for big money because they haven't been reissued properly, and do it right, and that's where you can make money. So that's what they did, but it was their first forte. Now this record here, when it came out, probably, I don't know, 72 or 71 or whatever it was, 1970. When it came out in 1970, I was 15, so Cat Stevens wasn't my base. I didn't buy the record when it came out. I'm Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult, and that's the kind of stuff I want to listen to. Hawkwind and all that stuff. That's what I turn on. The Rolling Stones and whatever. That's the stuff I'm spinning. Led Zeppelin. You know the stuff I'm listening to. So, but a few years later down the road, I got the Mobile Fidelity half-speed master of the record, and it was such a good sounding record. And I bought Teaser and the Firecat on the A&M, the first edition A&M label. A&M, they always had some great sounding records. Herb Alpert was the one that started A&M Records, and he was a musician, so he wanted good sound. That was important to him, and the records had good sound. It just goes to show you, if the people that own that label, if they want to make great sounding records, they can make great sounding records. They have the ability. If it's just about your attitude, do you want to do it? And that's what these people here do. They want to do it. And you know how they want to do it? They want to do it the best that they can. They're striving for excellence. They're striving for greatness. And so even when it came to the cover, they went to the manufacturer of the record covers and they said, we want the best product it's humanly possible to make. Whatever you have to do to make it the best you can do, that's what we want you to do. They said, okay, yeah, we know the product you want, and this is what they've got. And this is the same quality now that the Doors came out on that 45 RPM, the 2LP sets. The same type of quality cover. It's just wonderful quality. And again, on the 2LP 45 RPM, now if you look at it side by each, you can see that they changed the border. It's a little bit darker around the outside. and maybe even the center picture just a little bit more color in it. It's hard to tell, but very, very nice. So now this record, that's the thing about these limited edition things. They're only limited to 3,500 records, and I've got number 2320. So, and something else I wanted to talk a little bit about. As I said in one of my earlier videos, I wanted to get into this. How do you know before you buy the record if it's going to be good or not? Because it's getting difficult. And I've been making some mistakes lately, haven't done my due diligence, and even when you try to, a lot of times a lot of the information is not there. So I think it's a red flag when they're not proud of where the tape, what the tape is, and what the source is, and like these people, they're proud of it. So let's listen to what they got to say. Original master tape. We use the original tapes and work with only the best mastering studios. Quality records pressings, plated and pressed at the world's best pressing plant on virgin vinyl. Okay, so they're using the best materials, and that's their own pressing plant in Kansas there. They got some old machines, pressers, and they tuned them up to 2011 standards. They improved upon them. They're even better than they were back in the day when they were first made. Okay, now, unmatched quality control, meticulous test pressing, evaluation, and quality control. So when they make that lacquer and then make a stamper off that, and they go to all that trouble now, and they make a test pressing, if they don't like the test pressing, guess what? They're not using that stamper. That father's, they're going to toss that aside, and they're going to do another one till they get it just that perfect, the best that they can do it. That's meticulous. That's not what the big record companies do. That's why the big record companies are feeding us digital records. Who wants a digital record? If I want digital, I'll buy a CD. Why would I want to buy a digital record? They have no idea what they're doing. Deluxe packaging, as we've already talked about, and of course limited edition, because a limited edition is also part of quality. Less than 1,000 records per stamper, released in limited quantities. So, see, what back in the day, they used to press a bunch of records off of a stamper, and then when they reissued it, they get the old stampers out and repress some more records. Well, that's why the fidelity drops. Every time you get those stampers out and you press more, your fidelity is going to go down a touch. So that's why the original pressings are always sound so much better than the reissues did. But now, these type of reissues, this is a whole another game again, because they went and did it. They did it from scratch again. They just didn't pull out the old stamper and make a record and reissue it. They got the tape, they remastered it, they made another press, another plate, and they pressed it again. So now you're getting another original pressing. And what a job that they've done on this stuff. So when you are searching for a record and you don't see anything about it's from the original master tape or any, and you don't recognize when you see quality record pressings, you don't have to dig real deep into something like that. You know that that's going to be a good record. But there's some of these labels that maybe we're not familiar with, and they're not saying how they make their records. So it's very suspicious, and you have to be very careful about that. And that's why I'm here too. I'm going to try to get some of those kind of more suspicious records that are out there, and we'll together try to find out together how they are. Now, there's one thing, the difference between the records now. They both look the same. They're both on the pink island, right? And they have, of course, a nice quality inner sleeve like that. But the first LP, when they came out, they had this little book insert in the record. Had the picture on the outside, had about, you know, George Marino and the process that they go through, and then they had a little bit of advertising on the back. Of course, that was their first record, so they didn't have a lot of records advertised, but they had this, I saw, Cat Stevens teaser in the Fire Cat. Well, you know, I just at that point, I had a Canadian, original Canadian A&M pressing, and it sounded really good. But I thought, wow, if AP is going to reissue this, then that's the one to get. So I'll sell my Canadian press on eBay, and when that comes out, I'll get it. Well, they never reissued it. I don't remember the reasons for whatever, but they just said maybe they couldn't get the tape, or I'm not sure what happened, but they never reissued the record. So now, what they did on the 245 RPM record, I've lost part of the record here, the insert. You know, what they've been doing for the last year or so, they include this book now, which is just basically advertising. That little bit of advertising that the first one had on it. You know, that little bit here. It's now, they've got to include this. And they have an insert that just has this on it. It's a two-sided insert in the new one. So now, after all of that, the reason we all tuned in today, we're in suspense because, you know, I don't know if you read anything about this record or not, or what other people's opinions about it are. And some people will say, well, you know what, it's a good record now, it's a little bit better, but if you really, really, really love the record, get it, because it's, you know, it's limited quantity. I said no. You need this record. This record is so much better than the other one. I know it's hard to believe. If you've heard if you've heard this Analog Productions record in the first place, the old one, you'll be hard to believe that you can make something better than that. I tell you. There's the insert. Yeah. It'll be hard to believe that they actually could make something better than that. But this is it here. It is so much better. It's, you know, when you first put the record on and I listen to it, yeah, you've got more bass. It just seems like when they put it on, it just like it slowed down the music. I said, well, this is supposed to be 45 RPM. Somehow it sounds like I can hear it a lot better. It's like it's going slower. I can just, every note that's being played is the most important note ever, and they just poured the love on it, and then they went to the next note. And you can just hear so much more information buried deep in those grooves when they start spreading those grooves out and they speed it up. And you know, I've talked about this before, the difference between a 33 and a 45. It's like when you're laying down the information in that groove, and it's just vibrations while going in there. And if you speed it up, obviously it's going to be less congested information. So when you go to retrieve it now, your needle doesn't have to work as hard. It can follow the groove better. It can follow it. It's easier to follow. It's not sitting in there, you know, buzzing it that fast. It's easier to trace. It's because it is a mechanical device, obviously, the cantilever on there. So you're able to hear so much more of the record. Now this record, it's another one, just like that Santana record. I'm sitting there listening to it, and my hair's starting to stand up on the back of my neck and my head, and the chill bumps all my arms, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying the record. I don't know what they do to records. They put on them to do that to you, but these has got them in spades. These records here. This is not something that you should be able to take lightly. This is really a big deal right here. There's very, very few records made to this high quality of standards that's got this type of fidelity that's almost, I mean, as good as a master tape. And if you've got a good playback system, you can get you can really hear so much more. You need to get this record. It's not about if you love it, if it's a little bit better and all that. No, this is a great record. Save up if and the music, and that's what I was saying before. You know, back in the day, that wasn't really my cup of tea. But when I got that Mobile Fidelity record, it had such great sound on it that I used to listen to it just because of the so beautiful the sound was. I used to just love that record. Well, then when it was reissued the first time, that record was just so much better than the Mobile Fidelity. And so, you know, when I had that MoFi, when I would go get a new piece of gear, or I would say, well, I'm going to put that on because I know how it sounds. And that got to be a record that I would put on a lot of times when I would say get a new preamp or get a new turntable, get something new. Say what's changing, because I've got a reference, and that's, you know, I listen to it a lot over the years now, and I know this record really well. And when I first put it on, I'm going like, wow, this is just so much better. And I guess I made my point. So I hope you all can take advantage of the fact that this record's out. Now, there's not a lot of them, but I'm sure Acoustic Sound still has a bunch. You know, they're the ones that make it. And thank you very much for tuning in. And hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave some comments if there's any types of records out there that you're wondering about. If you've got questions about should I buy it, should you buy it or not, or am I going to get it, let me know. Because what I think I'm going to start doing is, traditionally what I've always done was, I want to get this record for me, because I love that record. There's certain other records out there, I don't have them, I don't care that much about them. And there's some good music out there. I mean, everybody, that's what I found out from this channel now is, music is like an opinion. No one has a right or a wrong opinion, it's just different. Different people like different types of music. So if there's a record out there that maybe I don't have and you want me to review it, let me know, because I can pick it up, and I might not be able to compare it to anything. I might be able to get a few out of Japan or something and buy something to compare it to, or I might have a few other things kicking around that I sell on eBay that I might have to compare it to. So let me know about that, and thanks for watching. See you later.